Hi there, dancers. Today we're going to do a floor bar for you. This would be suitable for most levels of ballet. It might be a little bit challenging for level 1s. Level 2s, you can probably do it. Definitely level 3 and up, no problem. You've probably done something like this before at some point. Floor bar is a really nice thing to do, especially when you don't have a lot of space, or especially if you don't have a great dance floor at your house. If you've got lots of carpeting, or your big space areas have cement underneath, it's probably not good to dance on that a ton. But this is nice because you're just going to be laying on the floor the whole time. Another reason floor bar is really great to do, we do it in regular class every now and then too, is it just activates different muscles. You're doing kind of the same exercise as you normally would, but since gravity is working on you a little bit differently, it's pulling you down this way instead of down onto your feet. You're feeling different muscles work differently than they normally would. And you can take that into your regular bar when you're standing up again and use those muscles maybe in a little bit different way. One thing it definitely works is your core. So that's something you want to be thinking about throughout this class, is engaging your core. Make sure as you're laying on the floor in general, you don't want to be releasing up so there's a huge space here on the floor. You should be able to fit your hand underneath, so you don't want to be totally flat, because if we were standing up like this, that wouldn't exactly be correct posture either. We want to just think of being really long, okay? Think of relaxing your ribs down as much as possible and keeping that core engaged. Very important, no big space and not totally flat on the floor. So nice neutral position in all of these exercises. If you need to stop at any point, just go ahead and pause the video, of course. And I think we're gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first exercise we're gonna do is pliés, of course, always is. So I'm gonna face sideways because I think that's gonna be the best way for you guys to get a good view of what's happening. You're gonna be laying on your back. Feet are turned out in first position. Now you might find that your heels don't touch. You can see mine don't. That's because I have some muscular calves. That's okay. Use your best turnout that you can. This is also a really nice way to figure out what your actual turnout is that you can hold with your muscles. So we're going to be in first position, and our arms are going to come up and open. Now, this is also a really nice way to test your port de bras. Second position should be a little bit in front of you, so if your arms are laying on the floor, you're not really engaging them and they're not really in the right spot. So make sure the arms are lifted off the floor, they're nice and rounded, core is strong, and we're going to do plie. Bend those legs and straighten, plie, and straighten. We're going to do a grand plie, so that just means bring your feet in a little bit closer. Grand plie, keep those legs turned out and up. You can add port de bras if you would like, or just keep the arms here. If you want to add the port de bras, that's going to be arms come in, plie, and straighten, plie, and straighten. Grand plie, arms down, and up, and open. We're going to releve, which just means point your feet and flex, and then we're going to stretch forward. This is an intense ab workout. Stretch forward and roll it down, and second position. Same thing there. We're going to do 2 demi-pliés and a grand plie, releve, and we're going to stretch side. So really think about when you're stretching the side, not letting your legs move at all. Just like if you were standing on the floor, you want to keep the bottom half really stable and just move from your waist. So we're stretching to the side and up and side and up. Okay, and from here, we are going to move into a fifth position. We're gonna kind of skip fourth. Fourth position is a little bit tricky. So we're gonna just work on fifth position. You're gonna feel a lot of squeezing in your thighs. So this is a really good way to work your inner thighs. Don't just rest your foot on top of your toe. Okay, you want to be holding it. Again, depending on your body type, you might not get your heel to touch your toe all the way. Just squeeze it together as best you can. And we're going to do the same pattern. Demi-plie, grand plie, releve. And then for this one, we're going to just try and stretch forward again. But keep the legs stacked. And roll it down. And open. And then we're going to move just to the other side, fifth position again. Okay, let's try it with some music. Demi. Grand plie. Releve. Stretch it forward. Second position. Really strong. Releve. Stretch side. And fifth position. Squeeze those legs. About the arms there. Releve. Stretch forward. Keep those legs squeezing. Switching. Last set. Stretch it forward. And of course, finish nicely. Okay. So you should have felt that really strongly in your core, especially on those stretches forward. And I felt it a lot in my inner thighs. You might have also felt it in your shins. So keeping your feet flexed like that really works these muscles on the front and sides of your lower legs. We normally don't work them so much because when we're standing, our feet are just flexed from gravity. We don't have to hold them like that. So this is a really good way to kind of work those muscles that maybe don't get worked as much. Just make sure afterwards you give them a nice little massage or a stretch, and I'll show you some of those at the end. Okay, moving on, we're gonna do some tendus. Now, tendus, I'm gonna face towards you, I think, so that you can kind of see what my feet are doing a little bit more. Placement on these is really important because when you're doing them on your back, sometimes, depending on how strong our core is, we end up kind of losing our alignment a little bit. So we're gonna be in first position. If for an extra challenge, feel free to try it in fifth position. It's obviously a lot harder, but first position is totally fine. We're gonna actually have our hands on our hips to make sure that we're not rocking from side to side. We're keeping everything really stable. Again, extra challenge. Feel free to add some arms if you would like. All right, so in first position, we are going to
tendu forward. And you want to really articulate through that foot. So we're rolling through the foot, through the toes, and then back down, just like you're sliding on the floor when you're standing. Imagine that that floor is right there. So we're just going to do super duper simple 4 tendus to the front, and then we're going to do 4 tendus to the side. Now this one is a lot harder. Okay, so we really need to make sure that when we do this, our legs should not be sliding straight on the floor. Unless you have absolutely perfect turnout, which I definitely do not, it's going to be a little bit off the floor. You want to follow the line of your leg. So my feet, they turn out about that much. I'm going to follow where my toe is pointing, and that is my alles account. Okay? If you go too far, you're probably going to end up pulling your hip out to the side, and we don't want that. Super duper level. Keep your hands there just to check. Same thing, 4 tendus to the side. From here, this is a little bit tricky. You're going to roll to your side. I'm going to turn a little bit so you can see. I like to, when I'm doing floor bar, prop up my feet so that they stay underneath me. Okay? Some people do floor bar like this, but then kind of what happens is your hips, your legs aren't straight underneath them, like you would be when you're standing. So this is how I prefer to do it. We're going to do the same thing with the tendu to the back. Now this is really tricky. You want to make sure that it doesn't kind of go here. You want to try and go as straight back as you can. You're going to feel those glutes and your core working really, really hard. Okay, so really trying to go straight behind yourself. Also be careful, make sure that you're not piking or hinging at the hips here for more stability, because we wouldn't want to do tendus like this, right? You want to think about keeping your alignment just like you would if you were standing up tall. So we're going to do 4 to the back, and then we're going to repeat 4 to the side in this position just because it feels a little bit different, and it's good to try all these different positions. Then we're going to roll after that onto your back, and then you do the other leg. Left side front for 4, side for 4, roll, back for 4, side for 4, and then finish back and center. Always finish, even if you're laying on the floor. Okay, let's try that with some music. Really work through those feet. Articulate as much as you can. Keep that core strong. Roll to the side, going back. And side. And other leg. Okay. Whew. Definitely feeling these muscles right here, right now. Okay, moving on. I'm not going to do dégagés because the difference between tendus and dégagés on the floor is kind of minimal because there's no floor to actually disengage from. You can't really tell so much where that placement is. But if you wanted to try it again and just make it a little bit bigger, you could totally do that. We are going to move on to some rond de jambes. So rond de jambes on the floor. Obviously we can move front and side if we're laying on our back. We can go like this, but we really can't go behind ourselves. So I do like to do these ones on your side because you can get that full range of motion. It is really tricky to maintain that strong core so that you're not rolling all over the place, but that's the point. We're going for an extra challenge on the floor here. So our rond de jambes, again, I like to be propped up like this. I don't usually do things from fifth on the side. It's just a little hard, but feel free to experiment with that if that's something you're interested in. So we're going to be doing a rond de jambe. Front, side, back, and in. Now think of these like a rond de jambe à terre or on the floor. So we're not going super duper high, especially because going to the back, you have to adjust your torso a little bit if you go really big with it. And we want to try and stay pretty much stable through here. So keep them really small. We'll do some bigger ones a little bit later on. So we're just going to do really simple 7 rond de jambes and then hold, reverse it. So front, side, back, and in 7 times. Pause for a second, reverse that 7 times, and we're just gonna roll right over and do the other leg. Keeping it simple, think about strength, alignment, clarity through your body. And sometimes you don't need to go super complicated, especially if you're doing them in a new format, like you might be right now if you've never done floor bar. All right, 7 rond de jambes. We're going pretty slow. Front, side, back, and in. Feel free to keep your hand on the floor to brace yourself if you need to. If you wanted, again, an extra challenge, you could try doing your hand on your hip. It's a lot harder. 3 more. Use your chance if you want to relax for a second, roll your ankles out, and then we're going to reverse it. Back, side, front, and in. Make sure as you come around to the front, you don't want your foot to touch the floor. And relax it. Okay, I think I did the right number. If I didn't, keep going. We're gonna turn around and do the other leg. Be really clear about your positions. It's really helpful if you have a mirror that you can face while you're doing this so you can check your alignment. But if you don't, it's also really good to just be able to feel it in your body. Maybe have someone watch you and double check and make sure that you're not leaning, or make sure that leg's actually going behind you all the way. But either way, this is a really, really good exercise. So other side, rond de jambes. And relax for a second. Shake it out if you need to. And reversing.
Yeah, I think I didn't do quite as many as I should have on the other side, but that's okay. You should do the right amount. Okay, we're gonna move on to some frappes. Frappes, this is another nice one to work on the articulation of your feet. It feels a little weird because you aren't brushing the floor. Like we're gonna do the flexed foot ones that normally would lightly brush the floor as you extend. Since we're not doing that, you're gonna have to really work on articulating through your feet as though you are brushing through the floor. We are also gonna do some petit battements on there. So, for our frappes, kind of the same format as with our tendus. We're gonna do front and side on our backs, and then back and side laying on our side so you can get the different directions and get some different sensations going in your body. So we're gonna start on our backs, and we are gonna do some arms with this one. So let's take our arms to 5th position for the front. You can do this from 5th position if you'd like, or you can just come from a 1st position, do your preparation, bring the foot in flexed at the ankle. We're gonna do 2 slow, out and in, out and in, and then 3 quick, 1 and 2 and 3. The idea is gravity is helping you here to turn out your legs. So let gravity open up that hip a little bit. Don't roll, of course. But the other things you're gonna have to work on are articulating through the feet and maintaining your rotation on your standing side. All right, that's gonna help you. If you're not rotating this side, as soon as you go out to the side, you're probably gonna roll over onto your hip. If you really focus on turning out this leg, that can help stabilize things, just like when you're standing. After you do the front, we're gonna go to the side, arms in 2nd position. Again, don't let them rest on the floor. They need to be lifted up a little bit. We're gonna do the same thing. You can't really cross and back for these, so just keep bringing it to the front. Slow, oop, you need to move a little over. Slow, and quick, quick, quick. Again, legs shouldn't be touching the floor here. You wanna be working from where your turnout is. From there, you're gonna quickly roll to your side, and we'll do our pattern to the back. Slow, slow, quick, quick, quick. Same thing to the side again. Now you can go front and back here. Side, slow, slow, quick, quick, quick. And then we're gonna do petit battement, which feels a little interesting here. Gravity is not helping you in this position. It wants your knee to fall forward, so you have to really use those rotators and open up the knee as much as you can. And then beating front and back. We might run out of music. I think my song might be a little short, but that's okay. We're gonna do some beats. And then if you want to extra challenge, see if you can balance with your arms in 5th position and maintain your position without falling over. Okay, so let's try it. It's a pretty quick intro, just a heads up. Side to the back. Side. Petit battement. Beat, 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 beat. Really rotate out. And holding in coupe. Can you balance there for a second? And relax. Come on down. Okay, and moving on to the other side. Really rotate that standing leg. And to the back. And hold. See if you can balance.
Whew.
All right, and now for some développés. These are going to be a little bit more challenging to keep your stability because we're bringing the legs up a little bit higher. So again, really engaging your core, thinking about turning out both legs equally. That will help balance yourself out a little bit. And here's the pattern we're going to do. As always, really try and stand in the correct position. If you're going from fifth position as an extra challenge, really make sure that you're holding it with your muscles and not resting your leg on top. That's not really a helpful position to practice. All of these can be done from first position, which is what I'm doing for the most part. But maintain that. Again, you should feel your shins, the muscles on the outside and front of your shins working really hard right now. Okay, so we're gonna be on our backs. Again, standard pattern of front, side, and then rolling onto our side to do back, side. En croix, really, but you just have to maneuver yourself a little bit in between. We are gonna use some arms for this. So during the intro, just a little breath with the arms here and down. And we're gonna go passe and lower it down. And again, passe, 2, lower down, 3, and 4. Then we're going to développé. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's going to be our pattern. 2 passes, 2 développés. The passes are really slow, so you can find that placement. Don't let the hip roll. Really hold it strong here. As you're doing the développé, be aware that your standing leg doesn't move out to the side. Sometimes this happens when our legs go really high. Our placement goes a little wonky. So imagine as though you are really standing. If your leg went out to the side, you'd fall over. So stand tall on your standing leg. Make sure that it's not moving around. One really cool trick I learned recently, especially for développés, is actually if you go up against a wall and not standing directly on it with your feet flat, but actually going into kind of a releve here. If you have a hard time keeping your legs still, this might be a good option. Stand in releve so that you're really engaging your standing leg as you développé up, and you're reaching. Your toes might come off the ground a little bit, but keep pressing against as you come down. That's a really great way to engage your standing side if you're having a little bit of trouble with that. Otherwise, you can just do it in the center of your floor too. That's totally fine. So we're going to do the same pattern, passe, développé to the front, to the side, rolling onto our sides, going to the back. Now, I want you to try and maybe add some arms to the back. If you're feeling up for it. As you développé to the back, see if you can reach into an arabesque here. Now, we do have to adjust just like when you're standing. Let me see if I can get a good angle here. We can't bring our leg very far out without moving our torso. So our upper body does need to move forward a little bit. Don't totally flatten out. Think of reaching long. It's probably not going to be your biggest arabesque that you can do, but do feel free to adjust your body as you normally would. You just have to make sure as you come in that you bring everything back together and you're nice and straight and strong here. You don't want to stay out and lower down and then end up in this sort of folded position. All right, let's give that a try with some music. Ready? And passe, 2, 3, 4. And again. Développé. To the side.
back. And just bring that passe up the side of the leg. It doesn't need to be front or back necessarily. Here's the développé. Reach that arm. Bring everything back in. To the side. Really opening up that passe. Finish. All right, let's do the other side. Oop. To this side. Okay, last exercise for our floor bar today is going to be grand battement. These can be, it depends on the direction. Some of them feel really great because gravity actually kind of helps you a little bit, get your leg higher. And other directions are a lot harder. So it's just like when you do them normally standing, some directions are easier and some are harder. Same things to think about, keeping that alignment through your back, not letting yourself release too much in your spine, particularly your lower back, and keeping that standing side strong. This might be a really great time to use that wall trick, where you're really engaging, especially when you're doing really fast things like this. Sometimes we kind of, especially when we go to the side, might lose control of that. So I'm gonna actually do it facing this way. If you're able to do that, if you have a good wall space to do it, great. If not, that's okay. You can still do it as we have been doing all our other exercises. So in releve, just so that you can have something to like push against rather than, if we do it like this, you don't really have to push as much. So really engaging through your standing side. We're gonna do 7 to the front. We're gonna do quite a few, and a little rest. 7 to the side, roll to the side. 7 to the back. Again, you're gonna need to adjust, unless you're doing them really small. You don't need to do the arm unless you would like to. You're gonna need to adjust your torso forward a little bit though, but make sure that you're bringing it back. And you don't wanna be rolling onto your belly. You should feel more like you're sliding, okay? If you're not on a slidey surface, you might wanna make them a little bit smaller to the back so that you're not getting rug burn. But make sure that you're adjusting your torso only as far as you normally would, and making sure that leg isn't winging off to the side. It should be going straight behind you. And then 7 to the side here. This is the one that usually feels really great because it helps you get your leg a lot higher. Watch and make sure that you're still turning out and you're not crunching or doing any weird things with your hips as you do that. Alrighty. 7 grand battements en croix. Strong core. Make sure the arms are lifting. Changing to the side. Really work that standing leg. To the back. To the side. Okay. One thing about using the wall, you might find, especially with ground battements, you might be sliding a little bit away. By the time I got to my last set, my foot wasn't really touching the mirror very much. So just keep that in mind. You might need to adjust as you go. On the other side, I'm going to do regular, not touching the wall, just maintaining my position on my own. So let's go ahead and get that other leg kicking. To this side. This one's hard. Stay strong. Bonus one at the end because I got carried away. Okay. Woo. Thanks for doing floor bar with me today. I hope this is something that you can use at home to keep your ballet practice going. And we'll see you again soon. Bye, guys.